Okay, well, the light ring is on. My witch neon sign from Michaels is lit. And of course, my on air sign is on behind me, which can mean only one thing. I need to welcome you guys back to another episode of the Witching Hour podcast. I'm your host, as always, John Royceland. I want to thank the folks over at Joy Horror Entertainment, before I forget, for having sent me the following movie that I'm going to give a quick review of for you guys, which is actually the one that you guys just watched the trailer for. The film is called Bakemono. Broken down in Japanese, it means bake, which means to transform. You go from one product into another, or morph, and mono meaning creature. So there you go. You've got a creature that is morphing. Bakemono. It is a Japanese film that was released in 2023. Writer-director Doug Roos, who brought us The Sky Has Fallen in '09. Now, before I get going to the film, I got to give this gentleman credit. Not only did he write and direct, he was the cinematographer, editor, producer. He did the score. What else did he do? Yeah, he was a composer, producer, editor, as well as all practical effects for the creature in the movie. There's absolutely no CGI done whatsoever, which of course I commend anybody that does it and can get away with it. And getting into this film, you will find out whether I think he did or not. So the basis of the film is it's kind of a seedy B&B, Airbnb in Tokyo. There is a creature that is killing people that go and stay there. It's kind of a seedy part of town. The story runs around, I believe, 4 different stories. So unfortunately, it's kind of hard to decipher whether it's an Airbnb of different rooms and apartments that are all going on at once, or if it's one room, one actual B&B, and these are different stories that have taken place. It really kind of is, it gets kind of lost in translation. The film opens up with a woman approaching the building, actually kind of through a back alleyway, and is attacked and is brutally murdered. Now, we find out later on in the story, the owner of the Airbnb, the character's name is Mitsuo, kind of a middle-aged, seedy character that we find out not only is the landlord of the building, does maintenance, he also has installed video in the rooms where he watches the tenants. He also doubles as a rapist, a Satanist, and lo and behold, also a murderer who has conjured up Bakemono, the creature. Now, it is also unsure throughout the film, because both Bakemono and Mitsuo both commit murders in the film. It almost leads you to believe that possibly Bakemono is the alter ego, let's say, of Mitsuo. Not quite clarifying right there, but I'm not going to take that away and hold it, because it kind of keeps the mind guessing, which I actually appreciate. It's not just a senseless monster murder or killing machine or just senseless slaughter, which there's nothing wrong with that shit either, because every once in a while I just want a movie where someone's walking around with a shotgun, boom, blowing someone's head completely off as soon as they turn the corner or open the door. But that's not like this. Bakemono, you will find, looks like if you've ever watched Bob's Burger, which I'm a fan of the animated cartoon series, there is one in particular where um the two youngest kids actually get some ground beef that fell on the floor, and they want to keep it and they want to play with it, and they mold it into Meat Man, and they make a little still shot movie with their mom Linda's camera. Anyhow, so it looks like a mix between Meat Man meets John Carpenter's The Thing. It's got the little tentacles that kind of like go all over the place. It is a bloody, disgusting creature. Again, that Doug Roos, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Roos. The film is Japanese, as I mentioned. Doug is an American citizen. Whatever, doesn't really matter to me. It's a lack of importance. But he is a killing machine. He also seems to have certain not mind control, so to speak. But it's kind of like when he seems to be near, let's just say, certain characters act out amongst their other friends and kill. So there's a couple uncertainties with the film, and I'm not holding that against it. It's just not clear, not to me anyway. As I mentioned, no CGI whatsoever. The cinematography, and I got to give the man more credit. Cinematography is crystal clear. It is absolutely gorgeous. Some of the nighttime scenes that are outside, that's overlooking Tokyo, you'll see a lightning crash in the background. The quality of the film consistently throughout the entire movie is spot on. Now, here's my downfall. 95% of the kills of Bakemono itself are relatively dark to the point where you almost can't see. Now, Airbnbs, they can be very roomy. They can be very small. I've never been across seas. What I am told, apartments and living quarters and so forth in Tokyo are very confined spaces. So they were probably very limited because the film actually is, again, filmed in Tokyo. So they were kind of limited, but the camera angles they got really work. They made it happen. Acting is surprisingly good. Who stars in the movie? Nobody. No one that I'm familiar with. If you IMDb it, maybe you'll recognize some of the names. But put it this way, the list of characters, the actors themselves, their names are there, and there isn't even a picture of them. So regardless, they still did a really good job, except for one gentleman in particular who I thought was rather weak, and he was actually an American character. Now, here is my second downfall to the film, other than some of the lighting being very dark in certain situations, is if it's a foreign film and I gotta look down and I gotta read subtitles and try to watch the film, all right, that's fine. I'm a grown-ass man. I know how to read, hence the glasses, and they do help. But there are a couple American characters. Okay, no big deal. And there are other movies I know that people speak both American and a foreign language in a film. But when you have two people indirectly in a film and one is constantly in one language and then the other one is in the same language and then might break off into English as opposed to continuing in your Japanese, it just kind of sets me off a little bit. I'm not saying it had anything detrimental, no hard points to the film. It just kind of threw me off a little bit. Now, the movie itself runs an hour and 41 minutes. This is a relatively long film, and I'm not going to say that it drags because it does move. It moves at a relatively good pace considering how long the film is, how many kills there were, how much limited space there are. Now, it did have quite a number of characters, usually no more than 2 per scene, per room, per Airbnb, apartment, whatever, however you want to call it. The movie is brought to us by Lost Forever Productions. I would definitely, I don't want to call this an extreme horror or extreme gore, as many Japanese foreign films are in the horror industry. But I could definitely see this film having been released under the likes of Unearthed Films. So, Stephen, if you happen to watch this one, might be something for you to be checking out, because I do think people will like this film. At first, I was kind of on the line with it, but the more I think about it and the more I think back to it, the more I actually like the film and would love to honestly have a hard copy and put up on the wall. That's really all I've got for you. That is today's movie review for you. Again, thank you to Joy Horror Entertainment for having sent this to me. You guys are 2 for 2. The first one you guys sent me was Arena Wars. Good movie. This one is even better. Better production, more blood. I really enjoyed the film. And that's not to have said anything bad against Arena Wars. 2 separate movies. That's all I'm getting at. Anyhow, you guys, you're looking for something bloody. It's got decent buildup of suspense, a couple little jump scares that pop out at you. They aren't bad. Bakemono is a good solid film to definitely check out. So with that being said, I appreciate your time. Hit the subscribe button down below, please. Where else am I? I'm on every social media platform you can find. Instagram, I'm very active on. Facebook, of course. I am on TikTok, and I have risen from the dead with my account with Twitter or X or whatever the fuck they're going to call it next. Who knows? So please subscribe and follow me. Share my page, share my work if you like it. Let me know what you think. I really, really thrive off of good comments and conversations. I've been having more and more interaction with the viewers, and that means the world to me. That means I am finally getting out there and being seen, and that's what this is all about. This is a labor of love for me. I don't make a penny off of it, and I'm not asking you guys to send me money, but if you want to, I could definitely fucking use it, as we all could. But with that being said, if you got a Roku at home, you can also find me on Roku channel. Go through the apps, scroll down, you're going to see my logo. All you got to do is hit the download button, and I'm there, and you can start watching previously recorded shows of mine. You see my great big old head on your great big old TV screen in your living room, and it's all for free. It's all for support. That's what it's all about in the horror industry. Again, thank you guys. I am John Royslin, your host, as always, to Witching Hour Podcast. This Thursday, be sure to stick around. I want you guys to think back a couple years. Joe Bob, when he first started off his old show, he had Honey the Mail Girl. Honey is going to be here and will be interviewing with yours truly. Yours truly. There you go. Anyhow, look forward to that dropping this Thursday. And until my next review comes out, I will see you guys again soon. And as always, please keep it evil.